Alright, so I admit it. The concept of looking at the Crucible from the perspective of a PvE player seems a little out there. But just hear me out. Heads up everybody, my name is SentinelGray and welcome to the channel. If you know my content, you know I focus mainly on the PvE side of things as far as Destiny is concerned. And honestly, that's the only aspect of the game that I've cared about from when Destiny 2 first launched to about halfway through the year whenever Shadowkeep came out. Since then, I've looked at Crucible differently, and I've been steadily stepping into those shark-infested waters we call PvP. I used to think of PvP and the Crucible as something I could never hope to contend in or even do. I never even remotely attempted Trials of the Nine in the earlier days of D2, and it used to absolutely enrage me when I had to do the old quests we used to have for Ace of Spades and Thorn. All those kills and all that time in the Crucible was maddening because of how I looked at it. See, that changed when a few things happened. First was when I looked at the Crucible as just another piece of PvE content, which sounds weird, I know, but let me continue. Second, I stopped caring about what my opponents thought. And third, I realized that Destiny is not, and probably never will be, a competitive game. So since this was the catalyst to everything, let's start with the Crucible as a PvE piece of content. Once again, yes, I know, it's weird, hear me out. The day this happened, I was doing an in-house private match with a couple of friends, and one of them and their strategy stood out to me. I was playing with Hoplite. If you don't know who she is, please go check out her content. She's an amazing creator, and I will have a link for her stuff down below, along with anyone else who I reference in this video. Please go give them some love. But what she was doing was using Top Tree Dawnblade with a breech-loaded grenade launcher, and she was absolutely destroying everyone in our Rumble match. I sat there and thought, why does this work so well where my Titan self can barely even get a kill? It's because when you put it in PvE terms, the Crucible is all about getting your opponent's health down the fastest. Now it doesn't matter how you do this, sniper rifle, shotgun, hand cannon, melee ability, grenades, exotics, doesn't matter. All that matters is getting that health down. So, just like in PvE, what is the one thing almost everybody focuses on? DPS. Crucible is no different. However, because killing a Guardian is much more different than killing a Hive Knight, you'll have to be using different weapons, different perks, things you might think are crap in PvE but are extremely good in the Crucible. The best thing you could do is load into the Crucible with all manner of weapons to test out which ones work for you. That auto-loading Truth Teller and Quick Draw Dire Promise working as a 1-2 tap for you? Stick with it. Can you land 2 headshots and a body shot with a 120 hand cannon with ease? Why not stick with it? If you need a better example as to what I'm getting at, once I made this realization, I started playing a Middle Tree Stormcaller because I realized how I play and I needed more utility on how to kill other players. With Middle Tree Stormcaller, I have an area denial grenade that can damage over time, and a melee ability that can fly over cover and strike down on an enemy. That's not even mentioning that the Chaos Reach super can simply delete anyone I look at with ease. You see how all of those are just even more ways to kill you faster? Add in the fact that after every kill in the Crucible, I have those Ionic Traces come back to me to give me ability energy to all my abilities. Why wouldn't I want to use that? Now talking about weapons, I know Dead Man's Tale right now is a monster in the Crucible with its catalyst. Super accurate hit fire with an increased fire rate makes this gun one of the top 5 guns in the game for the Crucible. Pair that with a quick draw Fellwinter's Lie and I have every single bit of range covered to kill as quickly as I possibly can. Now forgive me for this next part, but I have a question. Did anything I say in there piss you off? Did you sit there and get an attitude when I said Dead Man's Tale or Fellwinter's Lie or Chaos Reach? Why? Maybe it's because you think those guns, those abilities and everything is a crutch for players in the Crucible. Well, let me tell you something. As the person using those guns and those abilities, I don't care what you think. You're dead, and I won our gunfight. Do you understand what I'm getting at? It doesn't matter what you use as long as you kill the other player faster. That is literally all that matters. If you guys are still angry or still don't understand, I suggest you go watch Ascendant Nomad's video about scrub mentality. It gives a perfect example as to why some people struggle in the Crucible. There's more to it than this, but here's the gist. Why would you purposefully hold yourself back by using underperforming weapons, armor, or subclasses in the Crucible? For example, if you don't use DMT or Fellwinters just because you think it's a quote-unquote cheap gun and everybody who uses it is just trash because the gun is easy mode and that's it, then you're crippling yourself in the Crucible, and you are your own reason as to why you're not doing well. How does this tie into the whole looking at the Crucible as a PvE piece of content theme of the video? Well, let me ask. Were you worried that the Hive Knight you killed yesterday on the moon was going to go back to Zevo Roth and be like, man, I hate how much these Guardians are using these anti-barrier rounds as a crutch. It is insane. No? You weren't worried about that? Then why the hell would you be worried about some rando, or the community for that matter, what they think whenever you use DMT or Fellwinters? Once you stop caring about what other people think of what you use in the Crucible, you'll free yourself from the restrictions that you place on yourself. There's no amount of pride that is going to do you any favors when going out in the Crucible. If you're not using the right tools for the right job, then you're doing a terrible job. Look at it this way, refusing to use the best weapons, armor, or subclasses for the Crucible just because of the rules you place on yourself is the same thing as refusing to use the right weapons, armor, or subclasses for the entirety of a raid. You let yourself down and you let your team down as well. Now finally, if you're not already pissed, chances are you won't be by the end of this one either. My third thing of understanding that Destiny is not and might never be a competitive shooter. Why is that? Because Destiny is not a fair, balanced, equal playing field. Now before you make the argument of, well duh, the devs need to do a better job of balancing everything. That's not what I mean. What I mean is Destiny is an MMO. An MMO that has elements of RNG in it, meaning that everything from the armor stats to the weapon rolls are randomly generated. You know what doesn't have randomly generated stats? Games in esports, Valorant, Call of Duty, Counter-Strike, Overwatch, Rainbow Six Siege. None of these games have random elements to them. You don't have to farm out to get randomly rolled weapons or armor. Every single player who plays these games all have access to the same things with no factor of random perks or stats or anything. If you have a silencer, a red dot, and a magazine on a weapon in Call of Duty, it'll do the same exact thing no matter the player. Now, if Bungie wanted to, they could definitely make a game mode that has certain select few guns and armor sets that you can use with very specific stats that are all exactly the same, but I don't see them doing that anytime soon, if at all. Now, this doesn't mean that it won't happen. Hell, I mean, even if it did, I'd give it a shot to see if I liked it. But because this is how Destiny is, it's far better to look at this in a different perspective. A buddy of mine, Nem Plays, I think put it perfectly. Destiny's Crucible is like Mario Kart. Mario Kart is wacky and crazy and off the rails, but it's in no way, shape, or form a serious racing game like Forza or Project Cars. It's better to take it for the fun that it is and don't invest too much into it like it's going to be your ticket to esports. Meaning, if you don't care about how many top 3 finishes you have in Mario Kart, you shouldn't care about your kill-death ratio in the Crucible. So let's wrap this up with a bow. In PvE content, you usually are trying to find the quickest way to kill your enemies. If a gun isn't working for you or whatever, you change to a different one. Certain guns work for certain situations. Alongside that, you're not going to automatically put yourself at a disadvantage when fighting a strike or raid boss. If Xenophage is the gun that deals the most DPS, chances are you're going to use Xenophage for that encounter. Now, when you die in PvE, you probably think nothing of it. You're just like, gotta wait for my res. Then go right back out there and do what you were doing. Maybe start fighting that Vex Minotaur a little differently the second time around. Apply literally all of that to your time in the Crucible, and you might not only have a better time playing, but also see an increase in your performance overall. There is one thing though that could throw a wrench into this entire mindset, and that is if you get tilted or angry easily. Unfortunately, this is a personal thing that you have to work on yourself. I can't help you with that, but the first step to improving is always to recognize you have a problem. So, if you can recognize that, you are already stepping in the right direction. Thank you everyone so much for watching. I hope this helps some of you look at the Crucible in a different perspective. And please, I have links to everyone I referenced in this video down in the description box below, so make sure to give them some love. Of course, if you liked the video and want to see more, you can hit the like and subscribe buttons. If you want to see more of my live content, you can catch me over on Twitch on Sundays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll have a link for that down below as well. Thank you all once again for watching. I really do appreciate it. I'll see you all next time, and remember, keep your heads up and be kind to each other. Bye now.